if you want to break with these imperialist forces, it's simple. We denounce the agreements. Everything starts from there. I think the example of Chad in any case is tangible. They started by denouncing the agreements. Otherwise, if we don't denounce the agreements, just saying that the bases leave, we haven't done anything. Because the problem lies in the colonial agreements, the defenses that have been signed since independence. The most dangerous is not the one you see in the bases. The most dangerous are the military advisors. Military advisors exist in all these countries. They existed in Burkina as well until the end of 2022, until we took responsibility. And who are these military advisors? They are the ones who are supposed to implement France's policy. Here, they must work to make our armies very weak, so that France can always have the argument to exist here. Under their influence, they had succeeded. Our sentinels were therefore standing guard with sticks. That's what France wants from our armies. When we reach this stage, we have no choice but to want them to come and settle. But the Burkinabe army managed to get rid of the military advisors. Unfortunately, I think that in 2019, after Operation Otapono, where the French saw that the Burkinabe army still had the capacity to respond to terrorists, they called the chiefs of staff in France. They instructed him to reintegrate the military advisors throughout the structure. Well, they did not agree. But upon returning to the country, the politicians instructed him to accept the military advisors. And that's when the military advisors returned to the Burkinabe army in 2019. With all the consequences we know, the army was on the verge of disappearing in the years 2020, 2021. And indeed, this is the time when many soldiers had to desert because there was no longer any hope. We were in the process of collapsing. That's a bit how they work at the General Staff headquarters. In all army headquarters, in the schools, they are the ones who are supposed to dictate the policy of our army. They are the ones who tell us when to recruit, how to recruit, and what to do with them. They are in the schools to tell us how to train them, and so on. As long as these military advisors are there, you are not independent. Your army will just have the appearance of an army that is there to perform parades, a circus. But when war comes, you will realize that a parade is one thing, but war is another thing. You have to break the agreements. It's the only way to have an independent army and build strength. But many people do not understand this, perhaps. And even with these agreements, France selects from our states officer cadets to go and train them. It's through these same agreements. But in reality, these officers who go to train, for the most part for France, they come to serve the French state in their country. They do not come to serve our countries. They train them so that they come to serve the interests of the French state. I can provide evidence of this. When we revolted, many officers in Burkina who were trained in France were immediately contacted to tell them that it was time to take action because you were trained for this, to serve France's interests. Most of these officers reported back to us. We took note and we continued to monitor. When an officer trained in France returns to his country and unfortunately dies, either by accident or on the battlefield. In France, there is a night of tribute to the fallen in the army, as there is everywhere else. During the night of tribute to the fallen, the name of the officer in question is mentioned, and it is said, died for France. They do not train him to serve his country, they train him to serve their state. And in many African states, there are plenty of such officers.
All right, welcome back again to Revolution Time. This is African Streamline, and I am Atamba Haiti. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you all over and wherever you are. Now, me, myself, when I sit down here, or rather when I'm doing my own things out there, I ask myself a lot of questions. What can we do as Africans, and what can we do as the people of Africa to revolve Africa? Because revolution is something that we must talk about. It is something we must work towards it. It is something that we must actually do everything possible to make sure we are getting to revolution, because we've suffered for so long under the hands of the white man's supremacy. And my question all the times has been, what can we do? What are the things that we're supposed to be doing? So every time I sit down or every time I'm just doing my own things, I keep on asking myself these questions. What are we supposed to do? What are the measures we are supposed to put? What are the strategies? What are the steps we need to take to make sure that we're evolving Africa? Because if I would have an opportunity even to get to the African leaders and African politicians, I would be speaking to them and telling them, you know what, if we do this and if we do this, we can be able to revolve Africa, because Africa needs to be revolved. Now, as I was going through the social media and the videos of Ibrahim Traore, because that is something I do every time and every day, just checking on Ibrahim Traore, what he does, what he says, and all those things, I realized there is this video he said, and I've played this video before, where he said that the first step that we need actually to do or to take to make sure that Africa, we are evolving Africa, or rather we are cutting ties with the white man's supremacy, it is to denounce the agreements that we ever put with them. Because one thing we need to understand is that these agreements that we are serving today, the agreements we are living in today with the white man's supremacy, it is the agreements that were put across, that were put in place during the times of our ancestors. We were not there when these agreements were being put. And, these agreements are the things we are serving even today. Even as I'm speaking now, we are still serving these agreements, okay? And you see, some people would say, we agreed on this, there is this contract we are having with these people. But ask yourself, are you the person who placed this contract? Okay, because during that time of our ancestors, when they were agreeing on certain things, they were not actually they didn't know actually what they were signing into. They didn't know what they were entering into, because a long time ago, when these white men came to Africa through missionaries and all that, they really used a lot of lies. Okay, they manipulated people to enter into things they didn't know, because they knew if they know this is what we are up to, they wouldn't agree, and therefore they came with some other tricky words and maybe tricky things, or rather they came with, they tried to paint the bad things to look good, so that Africans and our ancestors would actually jump into it, thinking they're entering into something that is nice, or rather into something that is great. But at the end of the day, they didn't know what they were entering into was very bad. Now, the white men, they're still using those agreements, okay, that had been placed during that time to manipulate us even today, okay? And Ibrahim Traore is very, very clear. The first step you need to take is to denounce the agreements, because these agreements are hiding a lot of things. When you go back to these agreements, especially right now, when now you understand and read, you will realize there is a lot of things these people and our ancestors agreed on that really are not even good. Not because they did that. No, they didn't do that because they wanted to do it, but because they didn't have an understanding. And that is why there's a say that says that when you don't have knowledge, or when you lack knowledge, you will definitely perish. Even the Holy Book says, my people are perishing because of lack of knowledge. So there was a lack of knowledge. There was an absence of knowledge. That is why they were going through whatever and all the things they were going through. Otherwise, if they had knowledge, they wouldn't be going through that. Okay, these agreements had tackling and they are venturing into a lot of things. You see, like in Burkina Faso, the military forces of Burkina Faso, they used to, these agreements used to cover them and used to protect them. Okay, so they would come there and they're having their military in Burkina Faso and all those sorts of things. And you see, the agreement says that they must be there in the country, they must come in the country and do whatever they want to do in the country, so they can be able to give help. But at the end of the day, you've even heard Ibrahim Traore saying, when these military come to your country, they don't train your police officers or your military officers to fight terrorists. They train them to serve them. Okay, they train them in a way that our military officers would now be serving them. They will follow commands. They will follow whatever they are being told to do. Okay, because military officers, they are very obedient. They are very respectful. They follow orders. Whenever they are given orders, they follow. Okay, and to some point, I've even heard Ibrahim Traore saying that these police officers, to some point, these military officers, to some point, they were even sometimes they were being sent to execute some other jobs that are not good, but they go because they are serving their master. Okay, they were serving their master, and that was in the agreement. Okay, so when they come, to Africa. They don't come to Africa to help Africans. They come to Africa to make sure their intentions and to make sure maybe their plans are succeeding in Africa. That is the main reason they come to Africa. And so if you're sitting down and waiting or rather thinking that these people, they're helping us, because even today there are still African politicians who don't believe that white men in Africa or other white man systems of government in Africa, they don't help Africans. There we have African politicians and African leaders who still believe that white men in Africa, they are helping Africa. That is why you realize there are some other leaders like President William Ruto and many other leaders who go to France, who go to the US in search of help. Okay, you cannot go and search help in a place where, or rather to the people that you know very well, these people are my enemies. How can you do that? You cannot do that. But because sometimes some of them do this because they don't know. Some of them do this because they're just corrupt and they want money. Because whenever they go there, they are given something, because they're not the ones being they're not selling themselves. They are selling the whole country. So individual people benefit, but a lot of people, or rather a bigger number of people, suffer, and that is what happens. So the first step is to denounce the agreements. And for those politicians who think they cannot denounce the agreements because they still want to harvest or they still want to get some benefits here and there, you're doing wrong, because that is very wrong. Listen, we have been fought even by the white man supremacy because of everything we are doing. Sometimes we are being fought even. Listen, when you denounce the agreement, when you denounce the agreement, it is automatically they will start fighting you. Okay? Because even in Burkina Faso, when the agreement was denounced, war began. And even right now as we're talking, there is war in Burkina Faso. But Ibrahim Traore has struggled so much to minimize the terrorists that are being paid in Burkina Faso to cause war. He has struggled so much, and this war is about to end. These terrorists are about to be finished in Burkina Faso. Okay, because Ibrahim Traore has placed strategies to make sure he is minimizing all these terrorists in Burkina Faso that are there even now as we are talking. But let me tell you something. When we denounce the agreements, this war must come. We must expect them fighting us back, because they know they are losing ground, because they know they must associate themselves with Africa or Africans for them to be able actually to get whatever they think they want to get. Listen, look at diaspora, African diasporas and African Americans in the United States of America. Some of them, they cannot be allowed to get out of America. But why? Because Americans and even the government of the United States of America knows that black people in this country are assets, so they cannot allow them to come out of the United States of America. Okay, but at the end of the day, they are still actually manipulating them. They are still segregating them. They are still resisting them. They are still mistreating them. Okay? So the fact that they are mistreating them, the fact that they are manipulating them and doing all sorts of things they want to do to them, it is because they are trying to show out that we don't need these people. Or rather, they are trying to show out that these people are not important to us. But at the end of the day, I've had in the comment section, I've even had a privilege of interacting with the African Americans who are telling me it is very difficult for us to come out of the United States of America because some of us are poor, some of us don't have money, some of us can't be given visas, some of us, you see, things like those ones. And you realize at the end of the day, it is like someone really knows that he needs you, but when he gets to people or to the crowd of people, he tells them, me, I don't even need this person is very bad, to show people that he is depending on himself. But when he comes in public or in private where you are, he cannot allow you to get out of his circle. He cannot allow you out of their places, because they know your benefits in their places. But because they are arrogant and because they don't want people to know that they really need you, when they go to people, they began tarnishing your name and all those sorts of things. That is what is happening to Africans. Okay, so these people know they must associate themselves with Africans to be able to succeed and to be able to run the affairs of their lives and the affairs of their countries. Okay, because we as Africans, there is nothing bad we are doing. We are fought because of trying to stabilize our system of education. We are fought because of trying to help ourselves, to help our kids, to help our children. We have fought because of trying to bring in our countries a good healthcare system. We have fought because of just trying to make to call for justice and all that. That is what we're being fought for. There is nothing more we are being fought for.
But it hasn't always been easy. Our only crime, perhaps, is trying to revolutionize our healthcare system, for example, to equip our hospitals, to build modern hospitals. Maybe our crime was wanting to revolutionize our educational system, to build schools up to standards, to change our curricula. Our crime might be having allowed our farmers to have cheaper fertilizer, to plow their fields for free so that we can achieve food self-sufficiency. Or our crime might be wanting to build road and rail infrastructures so that our people can move around. In short, everything we try to do, I think some have always tried. Unfortunately, the Salan slaves, the Africans who blindly followed the imperialists, have tried to discourage us. There is no reason to be demotivated, because history has always proven us right, and history will continue to prove us right. Today, so many things grow on our soil. When we initially announced that we wanted to embark on this agriculture, they thought we were crazy. They said it wouldn't work. Today, our cocoa is doing very well. Sunflower is thriving in Burkina. Our wheat is doing very well. In short, there are so many crops we have tried, but they tried to discourage us. And I hope that you will never be discouraged in your daily tasks to revolutionize your lives. And it must be this way for everyone, to say that Africa must understand that we have the potential to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to be sovereign. This battle will continue within the AES, and we will continue to join hands and unite. Long live a united and prosperous Africa. Long live the Sahel, united, free, in peace and prosperous. Long live Burkina Faso. May God bless our homeland. The homeland or death we shall overcome.
And therefore, I'm here to tell you, we must fight back. Because if we don't fight back, we are going to find it so hard. We must fight back because what we are fighting for is our health, our good health. We are fighting for our system, for the betterment of our system of education. We are fighting for the employments of our youths who are unemployed. We are fighting for justice. That is what we are fighting for. And we are fighting for many other things. So at the end of the day, when we fight for these things, they must fight back. Why are they fighting back? They are fighting back because they know, because they want us to have to have difficult moments, to have difficult times, so we can loosen up. When we lose up, they come in. There is nothing bad we are doing. There is nothing bad that African revolutionaries are doing. The only thing they are doing, and whatever they're trying to do is just to bring to make African people and African children live well, just like other people are living well, just like white children are living well, just like white people are living well. Why should we suffer in our own land when other people in their own lands they are living so well? Why should we suffer where in our motherlands when other people in their lands they are living well? It is not fair. It is not good. And therefore, these greatest leaders, Ibrahim Traore, these greatest leaders, Dr. Arikana, these greatest leaders who are coming up to fight for the people of Africa, they are fighting for the betterment of the people of Africa. They also want African people and African children to live a better life, just like other people are living a better life out there. Okay, I don't know why they're fighting us, but the point of today, for African politicians who really want a change, who really want to join the AES, who really want to join the white man's supremacy, who really want to join the movement that is coming in Africa. The AES has Assimi Goita, it has Abdurrahmani Chiani, and it has Ibrahim Traore. We have Dr. Arikana who is supporting them. We have even Julius Malema who is fighting also, and many other people. If you want to join the group, kindly listen to Ibrahim Traore, denounce the agreements, and decide that we are going to run the affairs of my country and the affairs of my people myself. Do let me know what you say in the comment section on this issue. I am the Atamba Haiti. This is African Streamline, and it is a revolution time. If it's the first time to be here, that subscription button, just press it. Okay, for the 10 subscribers, thank you so much. Okay, for my fans and every other people from diaspora, from Caribbean and from Africa in particular, you people, I love you so much. You people are great people, and may God bless you wherever you are. You are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for being here. Peace be with you.